guys pulled away maybe before. It wasn't feel like that they keep maybe hanging in there.
I mean, they're a young team, but a team that you can see their potential. You can see how they can win some games this year because they just keep coming at you. They got second chance points in the first half, and that was just will and toughness and grit. The second half, they just kept attacking the basket, and if you foul them, it gives them the chance to set their defense. But I thought our guys adjusted to their style of play. We got better at our shift defense. We stayed in front of the ball a little bit better, made it tough on them at the basket. And then offensively, 29 assists. Chris had 15. Book had 30, but a number of guys contributed. I thought Mikal's slashing tonight, again, was a huge plus for us. And then the bench points. Jock has 16, and we had a number of guys contribute off the bench that allowed for us to have a bit more balance than we're typical or used to having. But I thought just staying the course against the team that just keeps attacking, whether it's off the dribble or the slashing or their ability to just come up with a 50-50 ball or an offensive rebound, that can be deflating. But I thought our guys emotionally handled it tonight.
How do you see Cam going into that starting role? What it looks like now? He's not pressing. He's just finding the shot and just letting it go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes a minute to become a night in, night out starter, but I think his acclimation will hopefully get smoother over time. It's still hard to say. It's a work in progress for sure, but he started before, but he hasn't been the night in, night out starter from the jump where people are game planning for him at the start of the game. And so I think those guys are used to playing with each other, but I think over time, we may learn some things about that lineup. I think defensively is where he has improved, his ability to stay in front of the ball. His weak side defense for sure has gotten better. At the beginning of last year, that was a huge concern for us, watching him on the weak side as most young guys struggle. But I think it's an environment that will allow us to grow. And then we're starting to settle into a rotation pattern of he and Chris coming out and then coming back in. Maybe that can be something that we can hold on to for the season, but we'll have to see.
Monty, I'm not sure what the numbers say, but it feels like Mikal has been a bigger weapon for you guys in those short rolls while setting screen.
Yeah.
Like from that look with him, particularly when you use it in the post.
I mean, I think you learn from the great teams in the league and historically, right? That's something that Golden State has done for years. It's just been Draymond in that. But we feel like Mikal, with his shooting ability, he can stop and pop. He can throw the lob like he did to Biz, and he can finish. And I was talking to him about, being able to play in that environment, but also being able to make the reads and understand, quickly what the defense is doing and then make a quick play. It's just another thing that we feel like we can grow that we didn't have in last year. And that, is on me for not taking the risk to do it. Now we're taking more swings, more bites at the apple as it relates to giving he and Cam the ball, Landry the ball, and allowing those guys to make plays to try to give us a bit more balance.
Devin obviously turned 26 today.
Yeah.
And you said the other day that you thought he was one of the best all-around players in the NBA. Do you think, I know guys always get better to some degree, but do you think we're seeing peak Devin Booker, like right now, we'll look back and these are the kind of, he scored 30 tonight and nobody's even really.
It's hard to say. I mean, I think guys like Book, because they do it so consistently, you kind of take it for granted. It's hard to say whether or not, he's only 26, there's certainly levels for guys to get better at. They may not add, a left hand or anything like that, but there's certain environments that you can put them in to allow for, him to take another step. But again, I think he'll be measured on his ability to free up other guys because he does draw two guys every night. And I think that allows for Cam and Mikal on the backside to play more freely. And I don't think the elite guys get enough credit for that. You know, they may not add some facet to the game that they worked on in the summertime, but they may add a value to other people around them. I think that's what made Steve Nash and makes Chris so valuable, because they just made everybody else around them so good. And I think Book is in that class.
You guys took a lot of threes tonight to make it ton, but I think you shot 75%, which you like and dislike about the balance.
Well, I mean, I think, again, you just take what the defense gives you. I don't think our threes were forced. You know, it wasn't like we were taking 4 or 5 dribbles and jacking up threes. They were out of their team helping. Houston was helping in the paint. We were getting shots on the backside. Those are the kinds of threes you want after you've run a bit of offense. Again, I'm probably in the minority in the league when it comes to twos, but I like them just because we have guys that can make them, and they allow for us to set our defense.
Monty, you guys got probably on the board a lot tonight, and so the team like the Rockets are second best rebounding team in the league, and 4 offensive second chance points and 10. So what exactly changed in the fourth quarter to stop?
We just got in their way. We didn't have time to practice or anything like that to figure out how to box out. It's just a matter of guys doing it. In the first half, that's how they, stayed close, their second chance points. In the second half, our guys had more attention to it. They're number one. It's early, but they're number one in that category. And you can see why. They send 3 guys like every time. And our first shot defense was pretty good. We just couldn't come up with the ball. Sometimes it's a bad bounce. Sometimes it's just a big, strong, physical guy. I mean, Jayshawn Tate and Martin Jr., those guys are thick and forceful. And Şengün is a big kid too. So we had a tough time keeping them off the glass, but I thought we did it when we needed to.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
The summarization of tonight, what do you feel like led to you guys eventually pulling it out?
Just sticking with it, started defending. I mean, they have a lot of athletes over there and guys that, are moving at a high pace, and, having Busy out there and Jock orchestrating, on offense and defense helped us out a ton tonight.
With a young team like they're going to compete in terms of, and I don't want to call it chippy, but they're going to try to impose what they are, young group. How does a veteran group like you guys have come back there tonight?
I mean, I've been on the other side of it, so I understand, just young players trying to, find their way in this league, and, it's kind of more individual than a collective unit in your first few years in the NBA until you figure it out. So, I think there's a lot of that going on, and, we have a lot of experience together. We have playoff experience together, and I don't want to say we know when to turn it on, but, we know how to win games.
You've been in the NBA now like 20 years.
Yeah.
Just turned 26 years old.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a good life.
Do you feel like you're in your prime right now? I mean, is 26 the prime, or do you even think like that? I mean, what's that like?
I don't think like that. I just, tried to continuously get better and continuously improve. I think last, press conference up here, I said the thing about basketball, it's, you can never perfect it. But I'm gonna try everything in my power to do it. So, that's just my mental, and that's my approach.
Book, happy birthday.
Thank you.
With you guys using Mikal more as a screener, like specifically in the fourth, how does that open things up for you and Chris on the ball when you guys throw in that wrinkle?
I mean, usually they try to throw, their third defender or fourth defender on them. And, I think a guard screen isn't something that people typically see every night. But it's the angle, Mikal has found the angle, and, we have spacing on the backside, and it's kind of pick your poison type of thing.
Jock had a good line where he said, like, the NBA is a lot of it is a 2-on-2 game. So speaking from you from the defender now, how much more difficult is it when that screener isn't always the center, and it changes things for the defender?
Yeah, it's just different. It depends on your team, depends on personnel and scheming and scouting. I think that's a big part of it. Just watching games in a different way and learning. And, we have a whole group that does that, so every day we walk into practice, we're talking about the games that happened the night before, who's playing tonight. And, that's pretty much everybody on our team. Thank you.
With DA being out, how important has it been for the bench to be playing as well as it has the last couple of games?
I mean, very important, even when he's in, we're going to need them. I think we understand the importance of having a deep roster and a deep team. And, it's been successful for us, in the past couple of years. So, we're going to stick with it. And, those guys have been working before practice, after practice, they get together as a unit, and, they're going at it full speed.
Speaking of screens, you set one for Mikal, and maybe we're hoping that he's finished on that. Instead of back screen, Mikal got a layup and
He missed it.
yeah.
We all missed some tonight, man. I think I missed one or two. Cam Johnson missed an easy one. So we just got to finish our gimmies.
We had a chance to talk to him since Clay talked, and he said that you reached out to him when he towards the Achilles.
Yeah.
Just maybe speak to that, because obviously it was news to me. What made you reach out to him during that time?
I mean, I want to say I understand from experience, but a high level competitor like that, and somebody that, if you backtrack and look how I spoke on him in the past, and vice versa, we've had a ton of respect for each other, and I think people just got carried away with two competitors getting at it, and I'm sure he's been in a lot of those, and I have too. We move on, we move past it. Next time we see each other, it's up again. Appreciate it.
You guys shot way more threes tonight. You put 40 threes tonight. Is that like a silence? You guys take a shot, try to go for a knockout punch, a lot of shots going in?
I'd just say take what the defense gives you. I mean, not only do we scout what teams going to do offensively, we scout how they guard against us too. And, we knew the spots where we're going to be open tonight. Credit our coaching staff, for giving us the goods before the game. And, sure enough, we were open, a lot behind the arc.
Jalen, had 15 in the first 3 quarters, and then last quarter, we didn't have any. So what was the strategy to stop him and trap him and take away that baseline guard shots and things?
Yeah, those guys, if you give them, a guy like him, you give him too much space, he's going to shoot it. And if you try to crowd him, he's by you, and, he's going to be up top. So just finding a good balance, and just guarding them with the team. That's when I keep saying Busy and Jock, like they're orchestrating that. Usually he has a ball screen coming, or most dominant guards have a ball screen coming, and, the bigs communication is really important in that. Appreciate that.
Just what you think of birthday boy in 30 tonight?
Consistent. You know what I'm saying? He every night we've been knowing what we're gonna get from him. And it's a cool way to play too, because he ain't forcing nothing. It's all coming within the way we play. And that's a good thing.
When you look at this young team like Houston, it's battling and trying to young guy trying to search himself. What do you feel like as a veteran you guys did for the end of the way?
Just tightened up a little bit, got stops, executed. When I watch games night in and night out, you just know at a certain point, for the most part, teams have been in those situations before. We know what we're trying to get every possession down. You're still gonna win some, lose some, but that's the growing pains that the young teams sort of go through, is just trying to figure out, who they want to have the ball, where they want to have it. So.
Chris, what have you seen from Mikal in the short roll? It seems like he's been a lot more of a weapon as a screener early on this season.
Just our communication. Something me and Kale talked about since my first year here. And we both getting better and better at reading that, and that's another weapon for us.
Looking at Cam in terms of him being that starter role, he said he obviously knows the shots are coming for him in the fourth when they pay attention to you. And how good to see him early on, knowing that.
It's so good just to see him letting it fly. We got a drill at practice called "Let It Fly," and when you shoot it like Cam, make or miss when I kick it to him when he shoot it. That's great for us, not just in that game, but consistently all season long.
Chris, you understand the geometry of the floor so well. So when you have a guy like Jock who's just always sprinting up and down, how much does that help open things up?
It's so valuable. The energy, the pace that he plays with, he gives himself up so much. There's so many plays that Jock, DA, Biz, a lot of the open threes we get is because of their selflessness in the way that they roll and the way that they run the floor.
A lot of these young kids are coming to watch and get them with that draw through the foul. Why these kids ain't learned yet? Like, can you talk to them and say something after
The one kid, Jabari, that we was talking about it, and I think Eason, Eason, that's the one that played at LSU. I was saying they come out of college, they wasn't watching NBA games. You know what I mean? They was only watching the national TV game. So after a game or two, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, one question about good. Last week, Mitchell and that's investment, the group that you and LeBron, several others, doing together. What exactly about that brand makes it so special that you're looking to help, keep that going?
It's a legendary brand. Some of the guys in my locker room probably don't remember the throwback era, and all that stuff. But truth be told, it's more about Ruben, Mike, and just his willingness to get us involved. It's something that we done talked about for a while in this league, and to shoot it to you straight. We play in this league, guys play for a long time, and there's so many things that we're not allowed to do, right? Like guys aren't allowed to be or invest in businesses that the different governors of the team already, have ownership in, which is tough, because when you're in this league, it can be a very short amount of time. So you try to leverage the relationships that you have and things like that. And so with Ruben divesting, his ownership with the Sixers, him being willing to teach us and to talk and communicate to us about business and opportunities in life after basketball, I appreciate him more for that opportunity more than anything. So.
Seems like a lot of the investment group of players come from that early 2000s time, when you first came in, LeBron first came in, and several others, that brand of power.
Yeah, somewhat. Just to let you know, it wasn't like we all like talked about it. You know what I mean? Like honestly, we didn't all know each other was doing what we were doing. You know what I mean? But I think it's more so about Ruben, like I said, getting us to be a part of it. So we appreciate that, and we want to continue to do things like that. You know what I mean? Because this game has had an opportunity to grow tremendously since my rookie year, and now guys want to be a part of the business of the game. So I think that's something. That's the next thing the union and the league got to figure out, is to not just allow us to be a part of the business when we're done playing. You know what I mean? Our leverage is right now as active players, so that's something we're going to continue to try to have conversations about and fight for, because we got a lot of smart players in this league who want to be involved in business, and the different governors of the league, they got 1,000 other businesses. You know what I mean? It's not like they just own the team. So guys want to share in that.
Chris, in your time in the league, have you seen some progress there at least, but not enough?
Yeah, not enough. And Adam I called him maybe 10 years ago about that, back when I was with the Clippers, just trying to figure out a way that we can continue to grow in the business of the game, right? Don't get me wrong, we're grateful and excited. We've all been a part of, the contracts and what they are now, but it's bigger than that. It's life after basketball, and making sure that guys can be a part of the big business.
To the point where when a player is an investor, it's not even a story anymore. It's just players are known as investors at that point.
Yeah, it's deep, man. It's a lot of stuff, where they start, you talk about circumvention of the cap, all this stuff, but we got to figure out a way. Just gotta figure out a way.
Ness's, what was your favorite throwback jersey?
My favorite throwback jersey?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's tough. The Alex English Denver Nuggets was cold. I used to have the AI Philly, the number 3. Used to have the Randall Cunningham. I could do this all day, man. Yeah, man. Man. All right.